and also Super Street Fighter 2.
That's a pretty solid fighting game pedigree you guys got going there.
Yeah, we got a lot of cool veteran staff that we just love fighting games, and this opportunity to get out there, get more exposure to basically the community, and get people to, see what Killer Instinct's all about and participate in its growth.
Excellent. Well, let's start seeing what Killer Instinct is all about right now. Let's hop into a match. You guys are rocking your fight sticks here, your Mad Catz gear.
Anybody wants to check that out? Brand new Mad
We got
Catz.
camera shot on the brand new Mad Catz. Killer Instinct branded.
All right, very cool.
All right, now, Rich, Killer Instinct, of course, a big splash back in the 90s. Give folks a little history lesson while we watch Jago and Saberwolf mix it up real quick.
You know what? We're going to talk about a little bit about the history for KI, but at the same time, let's have these guys fill you in on the basics.
Yeah.
Because I think that's what it's going to be all about. There are people who play KI, there are people who are playing fighting games nowadays. Let's talk about the history of the game. As we talk through it, we're going to have Michael and David over here talk through. Basically, we'll go through some base mechanics right now, and I'm going to let both Mike and Dave talk about this.
So the core of the KI combat system is obviously combos. So what we've done is sort of retain the essential combo mechanics from the past, but sort of updated them. So you've got openers again, you've got linkers, you've got doubles and enders. But what's new is that the system's much more open. You can take your own path through it. So whereas in the past you would have to go sort of opener, double, linker, double, ender, now you can take your own path through and sort of, jam on your own.
So room to create, carve out your own sort of fighting style, work in your own unique combos, bring something different so that when I take on one Saberwolf, it's not like taking on every Saberwolf. There's not the killer Saberwolf combo. There's a lot more flexibility there.
Absolutely. You can sort of define your own style. It's very situational, whether you're in the corner, whether you've got meter. There's different combos that'll sort of do the best damage,
It's very important for us as we evolve the game to take, like, we had a hard fast rule. It's like 50-50, 50% of the past, because we need to stay true to our roots and what makes KI KI. It's brutal, it's in your face, it's about a two-way interaction, and then it's about 50% of what is the new. How do we modernize it and make it built for like today's fighting game community, the sophisticated audience, right? So as you can see with the way that we developed Jago, it was maintaining those key reads that have always been part of Jago. So it's the mask, it's the sash, and then it's also the sword. But then it's evolving it, like taking the story behind the Tiger Spirit and really integrating it more so into his outfit in a really compelling way. So you get this intricate tattoo, as Dave blows me up, you get this intricate tattoo all over his arm that he's done himself. You get the pleats and the pants that are fully simmed that also represent the tiger stripes, and then he's got the awesome knee guards that are like the tiger's mouth that you can see open and close as he idles. So just all these really cool reads.
I like it. And so you're talking about, going into the Jago character, Jago, the Jago character. But this is a pretty eclectic cast here in Killer Instinct, and now you guys have shown off Jago, you've shown off Saberwolf, of course, but there's a lot more characters to come, and, folks who know Killer Instinct can probably guess at some of them. You guys announcing the whole roster yet? Who we got confirmed so far?
We're not announcing the whole roster yet, but if you watch the reveal, sorry, buddy. If you watched the reveal at the presser yesterday, you saw Glacius in the trailer. He's going to be fully playable at EVO, and then we're going to start announcing upcoming characters as well. So please come check us out at EVO. We want as many people as possible to touch the game, give us their feedback. This is, we can't stress it enough. This is really about building a community around this game, and we want to know, what do you like? What do you hate? Who do you want to see return? We're completely humble. You won't hurt our feelings if you're like, hey, that sucks. No, we want to hear about it. How can we improve this to where this is the Killer Instinct that you've been imagining for 20 years, right?
Yeah, and that's basically what I'm trying to do right now. I want to take every piece of input that the community's given out, whether you're an old school KI fan or you're somebody who's just playing every single fighting game out there. Tell us what we can do to make the game for you. You know what I mean? Our whole dev team, we mentioned we're dedicated. We got this team that's experienced in playing or working on multiple games. We want to make this game the game that people play for the next few years.
Well, that's something, the community-driven aspect is something we love here at GameSpot. And so, folks, if you have questions about Killer Instinct, I'm taking a look in the chat on twitch.tv/GameSpot. I'm looking at the comments on GameSpot.com, and I'm checking on Twitter for hashtag GameSpotE3. So sound off. These guys obviously want to hear from you, so let's hear it. Now, talked about a few characters, but I think, you know, as you're revealing more characters, you can't talk about unlocking the whole roster without talking about the free-to-play business model you guys are bringing here with Killer Instinct.
Absolutely. So the free-to-play itself was a misconception. Rich Stevens. It's actually what we're doing is when we launch day one, we want more than just the fighting game community to get to experience what Killer Instinct has to offer. So essentially, think of it as like a massive demo where we're letting you have Jago and you get all the single-player content, all the multiplayer launch content, like that day one, so you can get to experience what KI is all about.
Okay.
And then we'll also be offering several different editions that we're going to announce later on, Evo, other shows that are coming up.
Sure.
So what the different editions are going to be. So you will be able to buy the full digital product. But then on top of that too, say like, hey, you know what? I got to play with Jago. I don't know if I like these other characters, but there's another couple I want. Purchase those, and you'll be able to play with those. So we want to make something for everybody. We'll give you the full version, all the bells and whistles, and then we'll also let you get, hey, I just want to check this game out, everything for free. And then on top of that, hey, I just want to get these couple characters, and I want to check these out. So there's something for everybody. We really want to make people, at least the intimidated ones, come out, try to play this game, check it out, see what it's all about.
And I think that's a really, you know, that's a great impulse to have with a fighting game because, you know, it's a competitive game. It can be a little daunting when you see these combos chain up and you're like, I don't know, and you hear, you know, people talk about openers into doubles, into linkers, into all the jargon you don't necessarily understand if you're a newcomer. Having that low, basically no barrier of entry, I think that's a great approach you guys are taking to really broaden the accessibility of Killer Instinct.
So if you recall, Killer Instinct, like at least for me, was always like the everyman's fighter. So you could just jump in there, mash some buttons, and something awesome would come out, and you're like, oh, like, it was the quintessential everyman's fighter in an age where everything was like, you know, just frames and pulling off like not fantastic combos. Maybe your highest combo was like 10 until like, you know, custom combos came out in like the Alpha series. But that was one of our pillars, was accessibility, and on top of that, like depth for at the higher levels of play. But what we're doing as well is when we release the title is having a pretty robust training system with around 40, he's killing him right now, around 40 significant training lessons to help people learn like the ins and outs of what the system is. Like, we want people to try to figure out how to play as quickly as possible so they can really get full enjoyment of the title and start competing online.
Now, both of the characters we're seeing, this is up close and personal combat, but we've got a question coming in from Banana Nap on Twitch, wondering about the role of zoning and control of space at a distance. What kind of role is that going to play in KI?
It actually will have a brand new role in KI, and we'll have to wait till one of our upcoming character announces. But we really wanted to separate our character archetypes. People that played KI2, I mean, essentially every character was basically a rushdown character. Everyone was in your face.
Yep.
But to us, we wanted to kind of represent what I call the triangle of gameplay archetypes. You'd have like a balanced character, you'd have like a rushdown character, and then the other end you'd have like a grappler. And then everyone else kind of falls in between or around that. So we wanted to make sure that in our game, characters had options and they played uniquely different. I know in this demo right here, you have Jago, who's kind of, you could say, like your balanced character, similar to Shoto's. And then you have Saberwolf, who's like extremely rushdown and trying to get in your face all the time. And so Jago's going to try to keep them off, try to use fireballs, try to bait things. And then Saberwolf has tools to allow him to try to get around the projectile game and get on the inside.
Okay.
But there's going to be other characters. They're going to have a lot more tools than Jago does as far as the projectile game. So just wait and see.
So stay tuned.
Stay tuned. Going to be a lot of focus testing with characters like that, and we want the crew, we want the community to come out and check it out.